Hello everyone. Got my sweet potatoes here, trying to grow them. Some slips out of them, but I'm way too late. I just started them yesterday, and I've already got this one right here. Oh, it might be healing up a little bit. It was a little moist, like it was rotten. But these are organic in compost, which I had found out after I put them in the compost that I'm not supposed to use compost. I'm supposed to use just soil. But they're in there now. Hopefully they'll, within a month, start putting up some slips and I can start growing them because I'm so far behind. But I think I'll be okay because the grow time here is pretty extended. It goes a long time compared to northern states. But now I'm about to go outside and show you my garden. Hopefully it's still light out enough out there that you can see it. Here's my grinder. My washer I had to put out here because my drain on the inside clogged up. I got my burn barrel. I just burned off a bunch of trash in it yesterday. Here's my spirit tree. That's like this little tiny tree just hanging on to life under this giant oak. And then I got my path out here. I've been cleaning this out. It's overgrown. This was all filled up with old growth, and I'm slowly cutting everything back. I'm gonna cut all this out. And here's my leaf bin for my leaf mold. This right here will break down in the pretty much soil. What I use it for is with compost. I make compost with it. And here's my bramble, my blackberry bramble. I'm gonna pull it all up after the blackberries all come out on it. And then here's my greens garden. You see my little greens I got growing in here. I got some, I think these are actually might be on the end here. This actually might be cabbage maybe. I'm not quite sure. But I got some dill. I don't know if y'all be able to see the dill. Oh, the dill is elusive. But I got garlic. This is garlic. It was volunteer. I had no idea it was going to be there. And I come out here and there's garlic coming out of the ground. Here's an even thicker bramble right back here for blackberries. I should be able to, I should be able to zoom in on that. But yeah, that's thick. See all the white flowers? Every one of those white flowers is going to turn into a berry. And here's I want to get the berries to grow up onto the fence as a trellis, but they won't make it over there. I want them to migrate over there, and I'm going to leave these alone right here and take all these other ones out, all the rest of the yard, but leave certain patches of them because I like the blackberries. Blackberries are good. Here's my little burn area, my recycling area where I've got things I could probably fix these refrigerators if I really, really wanted to, but I'm just going to try to see if I can have somebody come and take them off. I found this on the ground somewhere. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm going to check it out. And here's my burn pile. And I've got a burn off here soon. And here behind my burn pile is my compost pile. This is my composting area back here, which is really quite stupid because it gets it really dry because it has open access to the sun, and I've got it north facing. So I really should change this spot, but the only reason that I don't is because the ground here is so processed with the bacteria that it's like part of the actual process of the compost making is for it to have contact with this soil that's been used for composting for so long. But I might just start it off all the compost here just to get it going and move it under my spirit tree, because that's a smarter spot to do it at. It's closer, everything. And then I got this other area. This is where my greens are at over here. I've got an actual pile going over here. Here's my compost pile right here. And I've got a bucket of weed juice over here. A JLF, the liquid fertilizer. The real nasty stuff that you just put a bunch of crap in a bucket. I got a bunch of weeds I pulled out of the yard that had beans on them. They might be vetch. But here is I'm going to walk out of this area and turn around. This area over here is my sweet potato area. And right here, it has open access to the most sun. And it kind of sits at a spot where I've seen the sun sit the longest. I put it in where the sun gets to the longest in the day. And I'm going to fill these up with leaf mold from the woods over here. And grow sweet potatoes in them, because you ain't supposed to grow sweet potatoes in something that's very a good soil or a good compost. You're supposed to use something very poor, like leaf material, or they really say to use halfway composted wood chips is what they say to use, but I don't have access to none of that. So this is going to be my potato garden right here. I'm going to do my potatoes and all these, because this ground right here, I can't use this ground right here where these potatoes are and stuff, because I used to burn just random trash off right here. I'm talking about plastic, gasoline, oil. I mean, you can see I've got just random junk sitting on the ground and over here just for years of just trash sitting here and burning off trash here and stuff. So it's got thing. I cannot grow food on this piece of land. So what I do is instead I grow in boxes above the land, so that way the food doesn't ever come in contact with the soil, because there's God knows what there's in that soil. Heavy metals, plastic material, everything you could possibly think of is in this soil right here. But here's the main attraction I'll just show y'all. I hope you're staying tuned, because it's not going to end up being about a 10-minute video. But here's my main garden right here. My fence / trellis. I really wanted to eventually raise this up, but I might just take twine and run it across, and just run twine down from the real tight twine. Or I've also got some barbed wire that I could use, or I've also got some just hard metal wire I could use. But I'm a no dig person. I do all organic, no dig. So I've been prepared. I did, for several years ago, I did rent a tiller, and I did till this whole area right here, this whole garden area right here, all the way over to my burn area, like all the way over here and back. And then I put this around it, then like at the end of the season that year. And so this soil right here, all in this area, is the best soil in my whole property, because not only it got tilled, but then after that I had a cover crop. I have clover still growing in it. See, I have covered the clover that was the big patches of clover with my cardboard. See, I have this cardboard right here is getting ready to be laid down in another strip right here. So I'm going to take this piece right here and that piece over there, and I'm going to put it right here and make another row coming down right here. And I've already got stuff. I got all kind of seeds and different things planted right here. And what I'm going to do is I've got some things planted right here, but I'm going to come back tomorrow and I'm going to plant cantaloupe all across here. And then when the vine comes up, I'm going to bring the vine up the trellis and just pick the cantaloupes off of the actual fence. And over here, I've got all kind of things. I've got a bunch of all through here. I got against the trellises. I've got cucumber pickles, not cucumber, pickling cucumber. Excuse me, because those are the only type of cucumber I really like. I'm not a fan of cucumber in general. I mean, I will eat it, but the skin is so thick on it is the main down. The best thing I've ever had cucumber with is with at a taco stand. They'll give you like cucumber, like in little slices sometimes to eat with it, to like help with the heat. That is so good in that use case. But right here right here is going to be some more of these. But these I started at the end of winter on the inside, and I transplanted them out into this row. These over here, I'm not quite sure what these even are. I'm pretty sure they're probably butternut, just from the grocery store, because I threw a bunch of butternut stuff in the compost pile. It's either that they're butternut or they're pumpkin, because there also have been a bunch of pumpkin thrown in that compost pile. But more likely that's probably butternut squash right there. So I've got butternut squash growing all through here. I'm going to try to train them this way when they start growing. But these, I'm going to train these two at the end to come up that trellis there. And then I'm going to train these to come out into the yard over here. And then also, another thing I'm doing is I got amaranth. These are amaranth right here. I've got a bunch of amaranth seed I just put in the ground right here. And I've got amaranth seed under this right here trying to get it to sprout. But if I can just get a little bit of that amaranth to grow one time, these plants put off these giant seed plumes. And that's what you harvest off of them, is the seed. But what I want to do is I'm going to broadcast the amaranth seed over my bad area. I'm going to clean up all the trash on top of it, and I'm going to broadcast it over it. And I'm going to grow amaranth right here just for the seed. Since I won't be eating the seed, I'm just growing it to grow it. So I'm going to harvest all the plant matter off of there, and what will happen is that plant will take all the negative things out of the soil and put it into into the actual plant material. And then when I cut it out from the ground, all the stuff that's in the ground will be bound up into that plant. Then I can cut that plant and go and throw that biomass away, because I don't want it in my compost. I don't want it anywhere. I want it in the trash can. And then I'll throw all that away, but I can keep the seeds from it because I'm not using them to eat. And what I'll do is I'll take those seeds and I'll broadcast them again the following year, and then I can actually start harvesting that seed for eating. And what you do is you take the seed and you can grind it up and use it as a flour and add it to bread, and it makes like amazing bread apparently. And you can also make porridge out of it and all kind of stuff. So, well, my 10-minute video turned into a 10-minute video on gardening and a 3-minute video on amaranth. But I think I've got everything covered back here. I don't know what these are. These are just weeds that grow. But they grow so well. Like, I pulled a bunch of them up throughout my garden right here. I've done... Especially right here, I just tore this whole area up getting these weeds out of here. But these things are so impressive because if you put your hand on the ground over here, I mean, it is bone dry. I mean, the ground is no moisture in it right here. And these weeds, these plants, they still grow like green, lush. They're growing in right here. So I don't want to touch them if they're growing that good in that climate. So I'm just leaving them alone as much as I can. But as far as my garden goes, I've got these sweet potatoes right here trying to get them to slip. See, right here and right here. But they're not slipping. They're not making sprouts come out of them because they have had sprout inhibitor. I forgot about that. I just grabbed 2 sweet potatoes off the shelf that forgot about preservatives. So those are probably just going to rot into the ground right there. So I'm thinking about just pulling that up and just using that as a row with this row over here for something else to be to be decided. Well, I just wanted to let you all know what I was doing, what I've been doing, and what I plan on doing. One of the other things I plan on doing is to fill these potato things in. A couple of them I'm going to fill them in with good soil and compost for my actual potatoes. But for the sweet potatoes, I'm going to actually go into these woods here and cut into these woods. Cut right here. And then once you look at the ground in here, it is absolutely full of leaf mold all the way back into the woods. And I need to cut all this out, because this is nothing but just trees and bushes that are just growing in that are going to snuff out my yard. I mean, there's easily 10 feet that have been taken over by this forest that used to just be the edge. I mean, this used to be the edge right here at this tree. And now look how much it is. I mean, this is like so ridiculous. I mean, it used to be so open back here, and it's just slowly turning into a weed and a bush fest. Well, that's all I'm going to put. I'm going to leave it right here.